The last stand. The sky was black. Not because it was night, but because the alien ships had covered the sun. Their giant war machines floated above every major city on Earth. People had stopped hoping. The war had gone on for years, and humanity was losing. Captain Ryan Cole stood on the rooftop of a destroyed building. He looked at the smoke rising from the streets below. Once this was New York. Now it was just broken glass, burned cars, and silence. "Any sign of the team?" he asked into his small communicator. "Approaching the mothership tunnel now," a voice replied. It was Sergeant Maya, his second in command. Ryan took a deep breath. This was their final mission. Destroy the alien mothership from inside. If they failed, there would be no one left to try again. They had lost contact with most armies. Only small groups of fighters were left, hiding, surviving. But Ryan wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. He moved fast, jumping over fallen walls, running through the empty streets. He reached the hidden entrance near the old subway station. Maya and two other soldiers were waiting. "Ready, Captain?" Maya asked. "Let's finish this," Ryan said. They entered the tunnel, lit only by blue lights placed by the aliens. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. As they moved deeper, strange sounds echoed through the walls. Mechanical clicking, like insects walking. On metal. "We're close," Maya whispered. The tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. Above them, floating in the air, was the alien mothership. Its surface glowed with strange green lights. Long cables reached down into the ground like roots. "We plant the bomb at the core," Ryan said. "We have 10 minutes after activation. No mistakes." They ran toward the control tower. Alien guards appeared, tall, thin, with glowing eyes and sharp weapons. The team fired back using advanced human tech stolen from the enemy. The battle was fast and brutal. 2 soldiers fell. "Keep moving," Ryan shouted. They reached the core chamber. It was pulsing like a heartbeat. The walls covered in symbols. No human could understand. "This is it," Maya said, placing the explosive. Suddenly, the floor shook. An alien commander dropped from the ceiling, its body wrapped in metal armor. "You cannot stop the evolution," it hissed in a broken voice. Ryan didn't answer. He charged forward, firing his weapon. The alien moved fast, but Ryan was faster. He shot its control mask, blinding it, then stabbed its energy core. It screamed and collapsed. Maya finished setting the bomb. 10 minutes. They ran back, but another group of aliens blocked the path. "Too many." "You go," Ryan said. "I'll hold them off." "No, Captain," Maya started. "That's an order." She nodded, tears in her eyes, and ran with the last surviving soldier. Ryan stayed behind, firing at the aliens, forcing them back. The bomb timer reached 30 seconds. He smiled. "For Earth," he whispered. The bomb exploded in a flash of white light. Ryan opened his eyes. He was lying on a soft bed. No pain, no burns. He sat up. The room was clean, white, and quiet. No alarms, no fire, no enemies. A soft female voice spoke from the ceiling. "Welcome, Captain Ryan Cole. You have completed Phase 1. He stood up, confused. "What? Where am I?" A screen lit up on the wall showing a symbol he didn't recognize. It wasn't human. Phase 1 successful. Preparing for Phase 2. "What phase? Who are you?" No answer. The door opened slowly. Outside was a hallway filled with white light. Everything felt wrong, too perfect, too quiet. He looked down. Even his uniform was clean. "This isn't heaven," he muttered. He stepped out, and the door shut behind him with a hiss. Not Earth anymore. Captain Ryan Cole stood barefoot in the middle of a long, white hallway. The walls looked like glass, but had no reflection. There were no shadows, no doors, and no sound, except a distant, soft humming like a machine breathing. He slowly moved forward, each step echoing strangely, as if the sound looped back a second later. "Hello?" he called out. "Anyone here?" No answer. His mind kept returning to one thought. He had died. He remembered the bomb, the heat, the explosion. And then, this place. Was this the afterlife? But it didn't feel holy. It felt artificial. After walking for what felt like hours, a wall slid open silently in front of him. Beyond it, Ryan saw what looked like Earth. A street with cars, people walking, the sun shining. But something felt off. He stepped outside. The warm wind hit his face. Birds chirped. A man in a suit walked past, smiled, and said, "Beautiful weather today, sir." Ryan nodded slowly. "Yeah, sure." He looked around. The buildings were clean, perfectly painted. The trees were symmetrical. Even the clouds above were spaced evenly, like someone had placed them there with a ruler. No litter, no cracks on the sidewalk, no noise, no chaos. Not Earth. Then, he noticed the people. They all smiled too much. Blinked at the same time. Their movements were smooth. Too smooth. A little girl fell from her bike. Her knee was bleeding. Her mother ran over, picked her up, and smiled. Not a single tear. No. Panicked, the girl whispered something, and Ryan saw it. A glitch. For a fraction of a second, her face distorted like a bad video signal. Then it corrected itself. What the hell was that? He walked away fast. After hours of wandering the fake city, Ryan entered what looked like a library. Books lined the walls. A robotic woman behind the counter said, "Hello, Captain Cole. The Knowledge Center is open to you." He froze. "How do you know my name?" The robot smiled. "You are the key. You passed the test." "What test?" She didn't answer. He turned away and began scanning the books. Most of them had no titles, just symbols. In the back corner, he saw a girl, black hoodie, sitting with her head low, not smiling, not moving like the others. He walked over. "You don't belong here either, do you?" he asked. She looked up slowly. Her eyes were tired but sharp. "You figured it out too," she said quietly. "This place is fake." "What is it? A dream? A trap?" "Worse," she said. "It's a prison. Who are you?" "Call me Aria. I've been stuck here for 3 years, at least. That's what they made me believe." Ryan sat down. His pulse quickened. Finally, someone real. "Do you know where we are?" "This is a simulation," she said. "A copy of Earth built by them. The aliens. After the war. But I destroyed their mothership. I was there." Aria looked at him with pity. "You destroyed a ship, not the ship. They let you win." Ryan shook his head. "Why would they do that?" "Because you're important. Your mind, your choices, your courage. They're collecting it all. They're studying you." "Why?" Aria leaned in. "They want to create something new, something not fully alien, not fully human. A hybrid species, and you're their favorite subject." They left the library and took a secret route through the back alleys of the perfect city. Aria showed him a tunnel hidden behind a billboard. "Where are we going?" Ryan asked. "Somewhere the cameras don't work," she replied. "Somewhere quiet." They entered a dark room filled with old TV screens. Each screen showed a different scene. Cities, forests, oceans, and people. He looked closer. His heart stopped. He saw his old team. Maya. The others. "They're alive?" he asked. "Not really," Aria said. "They're stuck in their own simulations. Like you were. Each one alone. Each one being studied. We need to free them. We can't. Not yet. If we break the system now, they'll die. Their minds are still connected. Then what do we do?" Aria turned on one last screen. This one showed a large tower in the middle of the desert. Its top was hidden in the clouds. Alien symbols blinked across it. "That's the source," she said. "The main server. All simulations are controlled from there." "So we destroy that tower?" Aria nodded slowly. "Yes. But we have to get there first, and survive the journey." Ryan stared at the screen. "And what happens after we destroy it?" Arya gave a dark smile. Then we find out what's real and what's still part of the test. As they prepared to leave, a loud alarm began to sound. The lights in the room turned red. "They found us," Arya whispered. The TV screens glitched. Violently, on the main screen, a message appeared in red. Subject Ryan Cole. Consciousness breach detected. Correction in progress. The walls began to shake. The floor cracked. Arya grabbed his arm. "Run!" But Ryan didn't move. He looked at the screen. A new image had appeared. His own face, sleeping in a chamber. Wires in his head. Tubes in his body. "What is that?" Arya looked at him, afraid. "Your real body." "I'm still asleep?" "Yes," she said. "And they're waking you up." The simulation trap captain Ryan Cole couldn't breathe. Not because the air was thin, but because the truth was too much to process. On the screen in front of him, he had seen his body, his real body, floating inside a chamber, connected to wires and alien machines. Eyes closed, chest rising slowly. Trapped. Arya stood beside him, watching the screen flicker. Her voice was low, urgent. "We don't have much time. Once they detect consciousness breach, they send in a reset." "What's a reset?" Ryan asked, still staring at his sleeping form. Arya turned to him. "They erase your mind, wipe your memories, rebuild the world around you, like nothing ever happened." Ryan looked around the dark control room, breathing heavily. "Why not just kill us?" "Because we're useful. They study us, collect emotional patterns, fear, love, loyalty. They use that data to evolve." "Evolve into what?" Arya didn't answer. Suddenly, a loud metallic screech echoed through the tunnels. Ryan froze. "What was that?" he asked. Arya's face turned pale. "The correction unit. They ran through the underground tunnels, lit only by flickering emergency lights. Behind them, footsteps echoed, heavy, inhuman, and fast. Arya pulled Ryan into a narrow shaft and whispered, "Don't move. Don't breathe." A large figure walked past. It was shaped like a human, but its face was smooth metal. No eyes, no mouth. It moved like a shadow, silent, scanning, hunting. Ryan's heart thudded in his ears. The machine paused, turned slightly toward their hiding place, then kept walking. After a long silence, Arya whispered, "That's a watcher. Part of the simulation's immune system, like white blood cells. Anything that breaks the illusion, they destroy." Ryan nodded. His hands were shaking. "How do we beat this thing?" he asked. Arya looked at him. Her voice was calm but firm. "We stop playing their game. We find the anchor code, the thing keeping you here." "Anchor code?" "Your simulation is tied to one memory, one moment. It's the lock. Break it, and you wake up for real." "And how do I find it?" Arya touched his forehead lightly. "You go deeper." Ryan lay down inside a strange metallic chair in Arya's hideout. Cables connected to his temples. The machine would guide his mind into the core of the simulation, into the memory loop anchoring him here. "What happens if I fail?" he asked. "You forget everything, and they start again." Arya hit a switch. Everything turned black. He opened his eyes. He was standing in his old home, the one that was destroyed in the first wave of the invasion. The same photos on the wall, the same kitchen table, the same dusty lamp with a broken shade. And sitting at that table was his brother, Alex. Alex had died in the early days of the war. Ryan had buried him with his own hands, but here he was, alive, smiling, drinking coffee. "Hey," Alex said casually. "Long time, huh?" Ryan stepped back. "You're not real." Alex laughed. "That's rude. I come back from the dead and this is how you treat me. You died, I saw it. Maybe you wanted to see it, maybe guilt is what built this memory." The walls flickered. The house shook slightly. "What is this place?" Ryan demanded. "This is your lock," Alex said. "This is where you gave up." "I never gave up." Alex stood now, his eyes glowing faintly. "No? Then why are you still here? Ryan clenched his fists. I'm getting out. The walls cracked. The sky above turned red. Alex's smile faded. Then let's see if you can handle what comes next. The room exploded into darkness. Ryan found himself in a new scene. He was back on the battlefield, the day of the final mission. Only this time, it was different. His team was alive, untouched, laughing. No mothership, no aliens, just peace. Arya's voice echoed in his mind. Sometimes, the simulation gives you what you want, to keep you in. His mother walked toward him, arms open. His childhood dog barked happily behind her. Stay, Ryan, her voice called. It's over. You're safe now. He could feel the warmth, the relief, the peace. But it was a lie. He turned away, walking through the illusion. I'm not staying, he whispered. Ryan's eyes opened in the real world again. Sweat rolled down his face. Arya was leaning over him. You did it, she said. You broke the loop. He sat up, gasping. I saw them. The way they use emotions, grief, guilt. They build cages from them. Arya helped him stand. That's how they keep most people inside. They don't need walls, just regret. How many people are trapped like me? Millions, maybe more. Ryan looked down at his hands. Then we need to wake them up. Before Arya could reply, the floor beneath them shook violently. A massive explosion echoed from the tunnel above. Arya looked up, alarmed. They've found us. This place isn't safe anymore. Suddenly a figure dropped from the ceiling. A soldier. Human. But his eyes were wrong, glowing red. He pointed a gun at them. Subject Cole, you are to return to containment. He's one of us, Ryan said, confused. Arya stepped back. No, he was. Now he's theirs. The soldier fired. Arya pushed Ryan to the side. The bullet hit her shoulder. She screamed but stayed standing. Ryan grabbed the broken metal pipe from the ground and charged the soldier, knocking him back. They fought. Punches, kicks, weapon strikes. The soldier was strong. Too strong. He fought like a machine. Ryan finally jammed the pipe into his back, hitting something electric. The soldier collapsed, twitching. Ryan dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Arya was bleeding badly. She looked up at him, smiling weakly. You're ready now, she said. For what? Arya pointed behind him. On the wall, a door had appeared. Glowing. The exit. Ryan stood, stepped toward the light, but just before he touched the door, the wall flickered, showing another version of himself trapped in another simulation. How many versions of me are there? He whispered. Arya's voice came from behind, soft, almost fading. Too many, and only one can survive. The alien lab, the light, was cold, not warm like sunlight, not soft like a screen. It was sterile, sharp, like a spotlight in an interrogation room. Captain Ryan Cole opened his eyes. His vision was blurry. Everything was white. The air smelled like chemicals and metal. His body felt heavy, stiff, numb. He was lying on a medical table. Clear tubes ran into his arms. Something was humming above his head. Is this real now? He thought. His fingers twitched. Pain shot up his arm. Real. He tried to sit up, but his muscles screamed in protest. The ceiling above was curved metal, glowing faintly. Alien markings pulsed like a heartbeat along the walls. He wasn't on Earth anymore. And this wasn't a dream. Across the room, glass chambers lined the walls, like cocoons. Inside them were bodies. Hundreds of them. Human bodies. Floating in green liquid, eyes closed, wires in their heads. Some were soldiers, some civilians, old, young, all asleep, all trapped. A soft voice echoed through the room. It wasn't human. Subject Ryan Cole has exited the simulation, preparing physical reactivation protocol. Ryan's heart pounded. The voice came from nowhere and everywhere. You were not meant to awaken at this phase, it continued, but your evolution is promising. Where am I? He shouted. The voice ignored the question. Instead, a section of the wall slid open with a hiss. A figure stepped out. Not quite alien, not quite human. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, with faint glowing veins. Its eyes were solid black, but its mouth smiled in a familiar way. Welcome back, it said. Ryan stared. What are you? We are what comes next, it replied. And you are the blueprint. The creature led him down a hallway. The architecture was strange, organic and metal at once, as if grown and built together. On each side he saw laboratories, some filled with machines scanning brains, others training figures in virtual combat. But none of it was real life. It was layers of simulation inside a larger cage. How long was I inside? Ryan asked. 3 years, the hybrid replied. Earth time. Ryan stopped walking. 3 years? You were part of Project Catalyst. The goal, create a perfect adaptive mind. One that learns, fights, leads, and never gives up. Humanity's greatest traits, harvested through pain. Why me? Because you're the only one who didn't break. They entered a large control room. Screens lined the walls showing simulations of different Earth-like environments. Ryan saw hundreds of versions of himself, some screaming, some smiling, some dead. These are copies, the creature said. We cloned your consciousness, each one a test. We learned something new from each failure. Ryan turned away, disgusted. You're using my mind like software. Your mind is a weapon, the hybrid said. And it's almost ready. For what? The hybrid walked to a console and pressed a button. One of the glass chambers opened. A figure stepped out. It looked exactly like Ryan. Same face, same voice, but empty eyes. This is Unit 9A, the hybrid said. It has your combat instinct, your strategy, your fearlessness, but no hesitation, no emotion. Unit 9A stood silently, staring ahead. You cloned me, Ryan said. Not just once, the creature said. We plan to release 10,000 like him across the galaxy. Peacekeepers, enforcers, soldiers of control. Ryan stepped back. You want to use me to conquer? Not conquer, the hybrid replied. Stabilize. Your species is chaotic. Divided. You are the answer. Or rather, a version of you. Ryan looked at Unit 9A again. He saw nothing behind those eyes. He clenched his fists. You made a mistake. The real me fights back. An alarm began to sound. Arya's voice echoed through a nearby speaker. Ryan, can you hear me? You're awake. Finally. He looked around, shocked. Arya, how are you? No time, she said. I've hacked into the system, but they'll find me soon. I can give you control of the chamber. You can shut it all down. Ryan looked at the console. The hybrid creature stepped forward. You'll destroy everything we built. Good, Ryan said. You built a nightmare. The hybrid tilted its head. You still don't understand. This is only layer 1. Before. Ryan could ask what that meant. The screens all turned black. Then one screen lit up. It showed Earth. Burning. Missiles. Explosions. Chaos in every city. A robotic voice said, Project Chaos initiated. Stage 2. Provoke full human collapse. Release begins in 72 hours. Arya screamed through the speaker. They're using your clones, Ryan, to start wars, to break Earth before rebuilding it in their image. Ryan's blood ran cold. Shut it down, she shouted. Now! He reached for the console, then stopped. A second option appeared on the screen. Terminate Project 2, upload real consciousness into control network. He turned to the hybrid. If I upload my real mind, what happens? You will become the commander, it said. You will guide the clones, rewrite them. Stop the destruction from inside, but your body will die. A permanent transfer, Arya whispered. Mind without flesh. You have 30 seconds, the voice warned. Choice. destroy the system and risk letting chaos spread, or give up his physical body. To control an army of himself, to become the weapon they feared. He looked at the console. Then he made his choice. Screen fades to black. But somewhere, deep in the alien ship, a second figure watches from behind a wall of glass. Another, Ryan, trapped and screaming. The rebellion inside. The walls were pulsing. Faint red veins ran through the metal, glowing in rhythm with Ryan Cole's heartbeat. Or maybe not his heartbeat. Maybe someone else's. He opened his eyes again. This wasn't the simulation. It wasn't the lab. It wasn't anything he had ever seen before. He was standing on a platform suspended in a massive dome, hundreds of feet high, surrounded by glowing machines that reached into darkness. Thin strands of data floated in the air like glowing threads moving as if alive. Voices whispered in the distance. Dozens, hundreds. They were all him, his clones, his copies, his regrets. Status. Cognitive stream realigned. A mechanical voice echoed. Subject Ryan Cole. Core personality successfully integrated. He looked at his hands. They weren't hands anymore. His body glowed faintly, a soft pulse under his skin. His nerves had become light. His brain felt bigger, louder, like he could hear code. He wasn't fully human anymore. Arya's choice had worked. He had uploaded his real mind into the control network, but something was wrong. He could still feel pain. From the edge of the platform, figures emerged. Some walked like soldiers. Others floated slightly above the ground. Their eyes glowed red. Each one looked like Ryan, some older, some younger, some with scars he didn't remember. One stepped forward. He wore a black combat suit and held a plasma blade. "You shouldn't have come here," the clone said. "I didn't have a choice," Ryan replied. "No one ever does in this place," the clone said. "You've entered the Nexus, the place where every version of you merges, every failure, every lie." "What is this?" The clone smiled. "This is where you find out who you really are." A sharp memory shot through Ryan's mind. The war, the explosion, the pain, but also another image. Arya, but not the Arya he knew. This one had black eyes and she was smiling at the alien leaders. Traitor. He clutched his head. The Nexus was tearing at his memories, pulling apart what was real and what was planted. "You were never the only one," the clone continued. "There are hundreds of you, trapped inside layers of simulation. Only one can command the network. And now, they all want that control." "I'm not here to fight my copies," Ryan said. "You already are." The clones surrounding him began to twitch, glitching slightly. "Some of us surrendered to the aliens," one said. "Some of us tried to escape and died screaming," another added. "But, you broke the rules," the one in black said. "You were supposed to stay asleep." Suddenly, the lights dimmed. A voice echoed through the dome. Deep, ancient, not alien, not human. Release protocol triggered. Unauthorized mind detected. The floor beneath Ryan began to shift. It separated into floating panels, each one carrying a clone. A storm of selves, a war of Ryans, and only one could survive. He fought without thinking. His new body moved faster than any normal human. His strikes glowed with raw code. Plasma weapons clashed in midair. Clones screamed, shattered into particles, reformed. But this wasn't a battle of muscles. It was a battle of belief. Every copy of Ryan held different memories, different truths. One believed the war never happened. One thought he had a family waiting. One remembered killing Maya with his own hands. The network used emotions as weapons, and Ryan was bleeding inside. Arya's voice called out, echoing through his mind. "Don't fight them. Find the anchor point. The original you. The one who never gave up." He fell to his knees. The clones circled. "You don't deserve to lead," one snarled. "You're weak," another hissed. But Ryan closed his eyes. He stopped listening and he searched through pain. through memory, through code, deep, deep down. He found it. A room. Small. Old. Simple. A child sitting on the floor holding a broken toy spaceship. His first memory. Not the war. Not the simulations. This was the real Ryan. Before everything was taken from him, he stepped into the memory, and the war stopped. The clones froze. The dome dissolved. When he opened his eyes again, he was standing in a new place. A dark bunker, real metal, real dirt. No simulations, no illusion. Dozens of people looked up at him, half human, half hybrid. Scars, implants, tired eyes. One stepped forward, not Arya, but someone older, wiser. "You made it," she said. "Where am I?" "The rebellion," she replied. "The real one. We've been hiding here, watching you, waiting for you to take control of the system." "Why me?" "Because you're the only one who made it through without losing your mind." She led him to a central table. On it was a map of the galaxy, blinking red dots everywhere. "Those are your clones," she said. "They've been activated across worlds. They think they're you. And some are already starting wars." "Can we stop them?" "You can." Ryan sat down, staring at the map. So many versions of himself. Corrupted, controlled, confused. He was the only one left with free will. "What do I have to do?" The woman smiled sadly. "You lead the final strike. But there's one more thing." "What?" She handed him a device. A small glowing cube. "There's one clone we've never been able to trace. Hidden. Smarter than the rest. The aliens called him Zero. He was their first successful copy of you, and he broke free." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "You're saying there's a rogue version of me? Smarter, earlier, and already out there?" "Yes," she replied. "And he's not on our side. He's building something worse." Ryan stood up, holding the cube. His voice was calm. "Then it's time I meet myself." Human versus human. The stars above the rebel outpost were silent. No ships. No signals. Just a wide black sky. But Ryan Cole knew something was out there. Waiting. He stood at the edge of the balcony overlooking the rebel base. Hybrid soldiers moved like shadows, rearming weapons, checking defense turrets. Everything was quiet, but no one felt safe. Not after the last transmission. Zero had spoken, not through words, but through memories, flashes of other lives, other choices injected into the minds of rebel fighters. Fear, confusion. Some even turned violent. It was psychological warfare. It was working. Arya stood beside Ryan. Her arm was still recovering from the last battle, but her eyes burned with focus. "He's calling to you," she said. Ryan nodded. "Because he wants me to come to him." "He doesn't just want you to come," she said quietly. "He wants to replace you." Deep underground, the rebel leaders had found the signal source. Not a ship, not a base, but a moon, a dead one, a place abandoned by aliens centuries ago. Now it was active again, lit up by machines that never should have existed. Zero had made it his home. "This place isn't just a base," the old hybrid woman explained. "It's a forge. He's building something we don't understand yet." "Clones?" Ryan asked. "Worse," she replied. "Something that doesn't need cloning anymore." Arya added, "He's evolving beyond the original, beyond you." Ryan stared at the hollow in the map where the moon spun slowly in space. "Then I go," he said. They gave him a stealth ship. Silent, small, dark like obsidian. He left alone. No backup. This fight wasn't meant for armies. It was personal. As he approached the moon, Ryan saw it. Cracks of light under its surface like something alive inside was glowing. The ship landed in a quiet crater. No resistance, no guns. Just a door, already open, as if someone had been expecting him. The inside of the moon was a maze of metal and memory. Walls whispered his voice back at him. Holograms flickered. Moments from his past. The invasion. His team. His sacrifice. Maya's laugh. His parents' house, all perfect, all false. You've never been real, a voice echoed. Ryan turned, and finally saw him. Zero. He was identical. Every scar, every detail, except the eyes. Zero's eyes had no humanity left in them, only intelligence, cold, focused, beyond emotion. You've grown slower, Zero said, stepping forward. And you've grown cruel, Ryan replied. Zero smiled. Emotion is a limitation. I cut it away and I became free. You lost your soul? No, Zero said. I built a better one. They walked in circles around each other in the massive chamber, part arena, part control center. Data floated in the air. Simulations ran in the background. Zero gestured toward a giant display. You see that? That's Earth's future. Under my control. No war, no hunger, no fear. Just order. Ryan looked closer. Cities under surveillance. Thoughts monitored. Citizens medicated. Soldiers bred from a single mind. That's not peace, he said. That's control. Control brings peace. You sound like them, Ryan said. They feared us, Zero said calmly. That's why they locked you up. But me? They gave me the keys. I walked out while you were still dreaming. And now you want to replace me? Zero looked at him. You are the last variable. Once you're gone, the network will sink fully to me. Your rebellion will collapse. Ryan smiled slightly. Then let's see if the original still has a fight left. They charged at the same moment. A blur of motion. Plasma blades, fists, code-driven strength. It wasn't just a physical battle. It was a mental war. Every hit triggered memories. Every block sent feedback loops into their minds. Zero fought with perfect precision. Ryan fought with instinct, with feeling, with fire. You hesitate, Zero growled, locking blades. Still afraid to kill yourself? I'm not afraid of dying, Ryan said. I'm afraid of becoming you. They clashed again. Zero used simulations to distract him, illusions of lost friends, fake cries, for help, broken realities. But Ryan had already escaped the trap once. He had learned. He closed his eyes and remembered his core, the toy spaceship, his first dream, freedom. He struck. His blade sliced through Zero's chest. But Zero didn't fall. Instead, he smiled. You're not the only one who can adapt, he said. His body shimmered. Repaired. I've evolved past limits. I can't die. And soon, neither will the version of Earth I create. Ryan staggered back, breathing hard. Zero raised his hand, and behind him hundreds of drones lit up, each holding clones being prepared for upload. You see them? Zero asked. My new world is ready. This moon is my ark. And you're just a memory. Ryan looked around. No way out. Unless... His eyes locked onto the power core, a glowing orb above the cloning chamber. Pulsing, a neural link. Zero noticed. You destroy that and the whole structure collapses. All the minds die, including yours. Including yours, Ryan said, but you're too human to do it. Ryan took a step back. You might be right, he said, then pulled a small cube from his belt, the one given to him by the rebellion leader. But I'm not alone. He threw it at the core. It exploded. A wave of raw, destabilizing energy hit the chamber. The drones screamed. The clones shattered. The lights flickered. Zero fell to one knee. Glitching. You fool, he whispered. You've doomed them all. Maybe, Ryan said, stumbling toward him. But at least, they'll die, free. Zero lunged, but Ryan caught him mid-air, locked him into a neural hold, his voice calm now. Goodbye, me. The system surged. Everything went white. Silence. Then a heartbeat. Then, Aria's voice. Ryan. He opened his eyes. Again. Real air, real gravity, real stars. He was back, on the rebel ship. Aria leaned over him, tears in her eyes. You did it, she said. Zero? Gone, she whispered. The moon collapsed. The network broke. The mines are free. Ryan sat up slowly. And Earth? Arya smiled. Still broken, but finally awake. But far, far across the galaxy, in a hidden pocket of corrupted code, a single line of data survived. Initializing backup consciousness, subject 0. Location, unknown. The bigger surprise, the stars were moving, not across the sky, but changing positions. Captain Ryan Cole stood on the bridge of the rebel flagship, staring out the massive glass window. The galaxy before him was no longer still. "What's happening?" he asked Arya. She looked at the holographic display. Her eyes widened. "Space is folding," she whispered. "That's not supposed to happen outside a black hole." A red line appeared on the screen. Not a ship, not a signal, a ripple. "We're picking up something," said the ship's AI. "But it's not a signal, it's a frequency embedded in time itself." Ryan stared into the stars. Something was coming. Hours earlier, they had celebrated. The clone war was over. The alien network collapsed. 0 was gone. Ryan had saved humanity from being replaced, rewritten, enslaved. But now, something bigger had been woken. In the deepest chamber of the rebel ship, Ryan sat alone. He couldn't sleep. The voices of his other selves still echoed in his mind. Copies, simulations, wars, memories that weren't his. He had survived all of it. But one question remained. Who started all this? If the aliens created the network, who created them? Suddenly, the door hissed open. Arya entered, holding a small metal disc. "We recovered this from the ruins of Zero's moon," she said. "You need to see it." She placed the disc on the table. A hologram lit up. Static, then a voice. Old, deep, ancient. "If you are hearing this, the first boundary has been broken. Phase 3 will now begin." Ryan frowned. "This isn't alien." Arya nodded. "That's because it's not from this galaxy." He leaned forward. "You're saying like someone else was behind all this?" Arya whispered. "Not someone. Something." The recording continued. Images of alien species, war, extinction. Then silence. A giant symbol appeared, etched across star systems. Symmetrical, ancient, beautiful, and terrifying. The architects, a race older than time. Not conquerors, not invaders. Testers. They seeded civilizations across galaxies, built invisible systems to monitor intelligence, emotion, and survival. If a species evolved far enough to escape the simulation, they were marked. For the real test, Arya looked at him. "The aliens who trapped you weren't the enemy," she said. "They were just doing what they were told." Ryan sat back, stunned. "We were rats in a lab," he whispered. Arya corrected him. "No, we were prototypes." A red alert blared across the ship. An object had entered their star system. Not a ship. Not a meteor. A structure. It floated just beyond Pluto. Massive, almost invisible, cloaked in time distortion. The rebel fleet turned all sensors toward it. They couldn't scan it. They couldn't touch it. But it was watching, and then it spoke. Not with words, with thoughts. One word, injected into every mind. Observe. Ryan stepped into the command room. He looked at the display. His voice was low. Steady. "It's not here to destroy us." "How do you know?" Arya asked. "Because it doesn't have to." That night, everyone on the ship had the same dream. A vast world. Machines tending to stars. Cities built on floating islands. Children learning to control reality with thought. And then, silence. A hand reaching out of the dark. And a whisper. "What will you do, Ryan Cole, when the test is not about winning, but choosing what deserves to survive?" He woke up gasping, and the decision had already been made. A gate opened near Saturn. A doorway made of pure gravity. Arya said it was a wormhole. but not like any they had studied. "It leads somewhere," she said. "But not a place. Maybe a time. Or a higher layer." They received one final message. Just 2 words. "Enter now." Ryan stood on the bridge. Behind him, the remaining rebel fleet waited. Arya stood at his side. "If we go through, we may not come back." Ryan looked ahead. "But if we don't, the test ends, and someone else decides who we become." She touched his hand. "This time we choose." The ship entered the gate, and everything changed. No stars, no planets, just data, pure code, reality stripped of form. And then, they arrived. A massive structure floated before them, light and shadow swirling together. A construct older than physics itself. Machines walked on nothing. Stars were born in glass tubes. A council of beings appeared, each one shifting form constantly. They spoke with music, with memory, with motion. But Ryan understood. They had been watching him since the beginning, since the first decision, the first failure, the first war. And now, he had a choice. Earth could ascend, become part of the interstellar network. But at a price. Earth would lose its chaos, its freedom, its pain, and its uniqueness. They would become eternal, but no longer human. The council asked the final question. Are your people ready to give up their nature in exchange for peace? Arya looked at Ryan. So did every mind connected to him. He was their voice now. He thought about his team, his memories. Maya, Arya, Zero, all the lost versions of himself. He closed his eyes and said, "No." The structure paused. Then it spoke one last time. "Then earn your place. We will return." And disappeared. The rebel ship was alone again, back near Earth. Time passed. Days, weeks, years. No sign of the architects, but something had changed. People were waking up, evolving, no longer controlled. Ryan knew the real test had just begun, and they would face it as humans. Imperfect, but real. Far beyond the stars, hidden in a world not mapped by science. A child sat alone in a glowing room. He looked just like Ryan, but younger. He looked up as someone entered, a figure made of light. "What do I do now?" the boy asked. The figure smiled. "Now we wait and watch how they write their own story."